I learned this third type of diabetes. Today, I want to discuss with you two things. One is called structure. That is in relation to how you build your business so that you can have maximum benefit from the compensation plan. The second thing I want to do is to start the third part of our policies and procedures. You remember 2 weeks, the first week we did policies and procedures, and then last week we did policies and procedures part 2, which is about the relationship between you and other distributors in your team. So okay, let's go to building structure. I think that's the first 3 weeks ago we started by how we learned how to invite people to our presentation. From invitation, then we learned how to show the plan. We learned how to do follow-up and to close the prospects. Today, I want to discuss with you how to build structure. What is structure? Structure is building your business so that you can have maximum benefit from the compensation plan. In network marketing, there are different types of compensation plans: binary, breakaway system. I don't remember the other two types, but ours is called the breakaway system. Is the most stable and the highest paying type of compensation structure. Now, you will notice when you start the business, the first thing you are told is that you always need to do your 100 PV. Why is that important? That is important because Neolab wants to make sure that if you start the business, you don't start and sponsor people or recruit people in the business and go and sleep and then expect others to work and create volume for you. So minimum is 100 PV, but that 100 PV is what makes sure that you can actually earn a bonus. It doesn't matter what level of business you have reached. If you cannot do 100 PV, you cannot earn any bonus. So let's look at building structure. Building structure is building a stable business. Try and look at our business like a tree. How do you get a stable and strong tree? You get a strong and stable tree if, number one, you have very deep roots. Number two, you have very wide roots. If you have those two things, you will have a very stable and profitable business. So the first thing about building structure is called building width. What is building width? Building width is when you introduce people to your business personally, okay? Building width is potential volume. Building depth is what gives you real volume to grow your business. So what is the first thing that you do to build your width? The first thing you do is to go 4 to 6 wide quickly. What does that mean? It means that when you start a business, your goal is to sponsor between 4 and 6 people very, very quickly. That is why Neolab has a 3 in 30 program. The idea is to sponsor 3 people in 30 days. If you do that for 2 consecutive months, you're already 6 wide. So build your width as quickly as possible. How do you do that? Very simple. Start with a name list, the people you want to introduce the business to. Number 2, learn how to invite them by asking questions, the right questions. Are you open to look at a way to generate, to start a business? Are you open to look at a way to earn additional income working part-time? 3, then you show the plan if the people are interested. Showing the plan is either you invite them for a Zoom meeting or you invite them for a person-to-person business opportunity presentation, or you send them a video or a video to explain the business in detail. That is showing the plan. After you've shown the plan, the next thing is to follow up and closing. The fortune is in the follow-up. That simply means when you've shown the people the business, they don't make decisions immediately. Some people take a week, some people 2 weeks, some people 2 months. Some people even take 2 years to decide to join the business. So be very patient with your prospects and be very patient with yourself. That is going with the people you sponsor directly. Now, once you've sponsored the people people into your group, what do you do with them? You help them to sponsor others in their team. And what is the goal? The goal is to go 12 to 14 deep in each leg. You work on the taproot. What is the taproot? In fact, the other day I was speaking to one of our business leaders, Faith Ngaira. She's very good in with the. She's a farmer and she's very good with super grow. So I was asking her, if you have trees which are mature, how do you apply super grow? She said, you need to cut a furrow around the tree, which is the same width as the leaves, as wide as the leaves, cut the furrow because that is most likely where the roots are. Our business is the same. The deeper the roots of your business, the stronger and the more stable it is. So you work at the taproots by feeding the taproot. That I'll show you in a minute what that means. So teach each person you sponsor how to go wide, and then work with the willing. That simply means work with people who want your attention. Don't work with people whom you have to push. Don't work with people who have what we call a wheelbarrow syndrome. They don't move unless they're pushed. Okay? So work with the willing. Let me show you what it means with building taproot. So this is you. You've started the business. You're very excited. You sponsored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. You brought it into the business. You're 6 wide. The next thing is you go deep. Going deep simply means, let me say you sponsor number 1. What you do is you help number 1 to sponsor at least 2 or 3 people. How do you do that? Number 1 produces a name list, and you go with them to their prospects to explain the business on their behalf. Eventually, number 1 will sponsor number 2. Number 2 will sponsor number 3. Then you are 3 levels deep. So the idea is to go at least 12 levels deep before you find an actually stable leg to work with. Why do you need to go 6 wide? You need to go 6 wide because out of 6 to 7 people you sponsor, only 2 to 3 will actually show that they want to be committed to the business. Work with the willing. So go wide until you find 3 legs to work with. That simply means sponsor 6, 7, 8, or 9, or 10 people until you find 3 people who are committed, who want actually to build a business. Those are the people that you need to give your time. And what is the idea with these 3 to 4 legs? You need to go deep in each of these 3 legs. Because if you go 12, 14, or even 20 deep in any of this leg, you're going to produce a director in that leg. And that's how you become a world team member. So structure simply means you take time to go wide. When you're wide, you take time to go deep, helping each person you brought into the business to actually sponsor others so that you can have a growing team. But pay attention to duplication. It simply means take time to teach people what you do. Don't do for them what they can do. Once they've learned something, then it's not to withdraw, it's to change the way you interact with that distributor. For example, if you sponsor somebody the first week, second week, show them how to order products, show them how to write the application form, show them what PV is, BV is, what a manager, senior manager, executive manager. Once you've shown them those things, don't do for them those things at all. The one thing I can recommend that you don't do in this business, don't order products for your downlines. Teach them how to do it so they can do it themselves. If you want to grow a strong and confident child, don't do for the child what they can do for themselves. Our business is similar, okay? Number 3, about structure. Focus on what duplicates. That simply means teach your people to do what you do that is easy to duplicate. Don't complicate our business too much. That is actually what slows down your business. Keep sponsoring always because some of the distributors will outgrow you. That simply means, let me say I sponsor somebody called Sheila today. She joined the business. She's very excited. I teach her what to do. If she's serious, eventually she's going to build her own team and become a director. You cannot use her volume to qualify as a director because our compensation plan requires you to build other volumes to qualify as a director. Okay? So focus on what duplicates, develop the right attitude for building the business. And that is why you need to read constantly. You should always carry a book with you wherever you go. Why? Because at some time you will get 10 or 15 minutes when you're idle or you're in the bus or a matatu or a taxi, whatever it is, spend that time to read something. Why? You cannot give what you don't have. And how do you get what you can give? By reading good books. Another very important thing is aim for discipline, not motivation. Motivation starts the fire. Motivation starts the process on the journey of success. It is only discipline that keeps you on the path. Discipline is what keeps you growing in the business so that you can become successful. That means you do things not because you feel like, but because they need to be done. That is what discipline is. And then keep your eyes on the future. Something that I would suggest to you to really pay attention to. Don't pay attention to what your mind suggests to you. You see, our mind or our brain is designed to keep us safe. Whenever we come across something unfamiliar or something challenging, our brain immediately finds out reasons why you should not do it. That's why I said don't pay attention to your brain or your mind. Okay? Then have an accountability mirror. It simply means every day when you finish a business, go to the mirror and ask yourself, what have I done today towards my goals? How many people have I spoken to? That prospect I spoke to, could I have done better? Could I have used different words? Could I have been more patient and listened? So have an account, be accountable to yourself. It's easy to be accountable to somebody else, but it's not easy to be accountable to yourself because we are always overestimating what we can do. Okay? So that is about building structure. Building structure simply means you build two things, width and depth. Only those two things give you stability in the business. And to keep you going, you always need to read good books to keep yourself disciplined and motivated. All right. 2 weeks ago, we started on the policies and procedures. The policies and procedures are divided into 6 areas. The first part is a code of conduct. That is simply how we need to conduct ourselves in business, how we need to act when you're dealing with the public, when you're dealing with our distributors, when you're dealing with prospects. It's very simple. Be kind, be a gentleman, be a lady, represent the business correctly. Watch how you dress because people pay attention. They look at you before they judge the business. Code of conduct. The 5 basics that we believe in: integrity and honesty. People are number 1. Products that work. Long-term planning. Equal opportunity for everybody. That is a code of conduct. Then the next part we dealt with is distributorship. That is your relationship as a distributor with a company. Part B, which we did last week, is your relationship with other distributors that you sponsor into the business, the line of sponsorship. Today, we want to discuss briefly on advertising, because remember, you're running a business. So we've done about distributorship, line of sponsorship. Today, we want to discuss briefly about advertising. It's very important to realize, understand, and accept and engrave in your mind that you are an independent business person. You're not an employee of Neolife. Okay? And therefore, there are some things you can demand of the company. There are some things you may not demand from the company. I'll give you an example of the things you demand from the company. If you build your business to a certain volume and you qualify for a bonus, you can demand that from the company. If you pay for the products, you can demand your product from the company. Those are things that the company will do for you. You also need to do something for the company. A very important thing is to respect the name of the company Neolife. You see, you're an independent business person, but when you register as an individual or natural person, husband and wife, or just a single individual. You will never see in any application form that you register as Team Sunrise International. No. Corporations don't join this business. Individuals join the business as independent distributors. All right? You can give your business a name, that's no problem. But you cannot, for example, I can start a business and call my team Team Sunrise. All right? In bracket, authorized Neolife distributor. That is acceptable. What is not permissible is to, for example, call your business Neolife of South Africa, or Neolife Training Center, or Neolife Training Services. No, Neolife is a trademark for the company. We take advantage of it, but we cannot appropriate it to ourselves. Okay, so it's very important for you to always separate you as an independent distributor and the company as a corporation, which has rights and obligations. The other part is this: the use of Neolife trademarks and names. For example, Neolife International is a trademark name for the company. GNLD is a trademark name for the company. Nutrients Organic is a trademark name for its products. All right? You cannot use this as part of your trademark. You can use them to advertise and say, I am an independent distributor of Neolife products. I am an independent distributor of Nutrients Organics. All right? So, if you want to advertise anything, you need to get a prior written permission from Neolife. Why? Because if you use any of the names as attributed to you, you're infringing on the propriety or intellectual property of the company. All right? All of us are very proud of Neolife. We've got excellent products. Neolife has an excellent reputation worldwide. It's not even here in Africa, worldwide. But we are independent distributors for the company, and therefore we need to respect that. All right? The next thing is a sale or display of Neolife products. You cannot display the Neolife products, or displaying of the Neolife products or sales is prohibited in retail stores or outlets that serve the public. For example, I cannot open a retail shop in my streets in Pretoria and display the Neolife products. Why? Because you're competing against other distributors, which is unfair. There is, however, a provision in the policies and procedures that if you have a service that is conducted on appointment basis, you can mention that Neolife products are available here, but you cannot display them to the public. Okay? The next thing, let me say you grow your team and you have such a huge team. You cannot just open a training center and call it Neolife Training Services Center. You need to write to the company, apply in writing. There are some forms that you can get from the company that you built a training center, you want to call it Neolife Training Center. You need to call it your name and write in bracket a Neolife independent distributor. Okay? Why is this important? Because you always need to separate yourself as a person, as a distributor, from the company. Remember, this company has been in existence for 68 years. Distributors come and go. Therefore, you cannot appropriate for yourself something that belongs to Neolife. Okay? So if you build a large business, you've got a lot of distributors who come for training, you can open a training center, inform the company in writing that I want to open a Neolife training center in Pretoria or whatever. This is the display I want to put. Is it acceptable? The company will guide you. In fact, the company is happy if you build a large business, but don't infringe on the intellectual benefits of the company. Then intellectual property, having website. If you build a website for you as a distributor and you want to display the product, please use a website that is sanctioned by Neolife. All of us have HTTPS :/2, then shopneolife.com/ your name. That the company has done that for you already. You can put it on your website. You can put it in. The idea is maintain the standards that Neolife has put together. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would encourage all of you, please go back, take your policies and procedures, and read through it. Why? Because there's somebody in your team who is going to, when they come across a challenge, they're going to ask you, by the way, can I do this in my business? If you're a leader, you need to be able to answer that question. If you can't answer, go and get your policy and procedures booklet, go through it and answer the questions correctly. Okay? If you have doubt, speak to your wild team member. If they don't know, speak to the head office. The reason why these things are there is to protect both the company and protect the distributors, and also make sure that when you are dealing with the public know exactly, I'm not an employee of Neolife. I am an independent distributor of Neolife, and a proud one. Okay? So that's what I wanted to share with you about the policies and procedures. Subclause, advertising. Please read through it so that you don't make a mistake, so that you don't do something that violates and policies and procedures. So next week, we're going to go into the discuss about the products and what the company expects for you in terms of using the products, return policies, and all those things to make sure our business is run in a professional way. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank all of you very much for spending time with Betty and myself. I hope some of the things we have discussed has given you some ideas on how to build your business correctly. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, good night, and God bless.